Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review of X-Men issue 13, 2024. Oh, gnarly ass cover. They are dealing with Storm. Yeah, that's kind of how it works. I mean, they're not skeletonized in here, but this was kind of confusing because this is like part 4 of what's going on. X-Manhunt Part 4, Gods and Monsters. So, if you're not reading any of the other kind of stuff, you're kind of gonna be kind of as confused. You do get brought up to speed, but you're like, what the fuck? The X-Men's former mentor, Professor Charles Xavier, received a psychic distress call from his daughter Zandra, Empress of the alien Shi'ar Empire. Xavier then broke out of Grey Malkin prison. He's also suffering from a mutant brain tumor that's affecting his telepathic powers, but he has refused to accept this truth. The various X-Men remain divided over whether to aid or apprehend Xavier. He sought refuge with Storm at her Storm Sanctuary. When Cyclops and his team of X-Men arrived to recapture Xavier, Storm, utilizing new cosmic powers, easily defeated them, badly injuring Cyclops. But Beast infiltrated the engine room of the Storm Sanctuary, only to be discovered by Xavier. And that's pretty much where we pop back into here. Great art there. San Francisco Bay, Utopia, New Tian, yet another mutant homeland shattered. We've lost McCoy. Temper, how's Scott? I'm converting the frost to warmth, but it's delicate work. What the hell was that, Psylocke? Since when does Storm have that much juice? I don't know, but San Francisco is suffering from Xavier's psychic bleed. In her wisdom, Storm has flown an omega psychic contagion over a densely populated area. Make Scott comfortable, Magic. Prepare to move us. Storm has given shelter to the man who stole my mind and will in Grey Malkin, and I will not let that pass. Thundercloud, Storm's mobile base 1,000 feet up. Henry, I simply cannot have you destroying the Thundercloud. As much as you and I might disagree about what I am doing, I have responsibilities. What is this? Like a little knot in your mind. I installed Psycoms in everyone's brains, Chuck. A limited telepathy subroutine that uses my brain as a hub. Self-sustaining so I don't have to pay much attention to it. Oh, Quentin. You always were extremely clever, even as a student. Has Scott sent you to clip my wings, telepath to telepath? Omega to Omega. I psychically inoculated our X-Men against your telepathic bleed, Chuck. But I can't do that to everyone in San Francisco who you're driving insane. So I have to cut you off at the source. Have at you then, because I will not be stopped. And it's like crazy. I love the use of color and everything, and how kind of just off kilter how the paneling is there. It's like, shit, Quentin actually going toe to toe like this to help people. It's like, there you go. And then, of course, we see that Storm is dealing with Juggernaut, and that page is nuts. Seeing Juggernaut just like beat all this shit and Storm in like her glory. Lobby, you are beaten, Juggernaut, but still you rise. To it. What? You think this is the worst beating I've taken? Rawr! As he starts pulling those like lightning swords out of him. Now, my old man, boy, he could lay a beating. Hit me so hard, I think I went colorblind one time. You think I'm a monster? Rawr! Who do you think made me one? As they clatter to the floor. That's like nuts. Because it's made of lightning and shit. It's like, holy shit. So if you think you can top Kurt Marco for punishment, you've got some catching up to do, lady. Come on then. I can take it. As we see Storm's eyes looking on like, oh shit. The factory, Merle, Alaska. And I like how this is kind of like a round paneling kind of effect. It's like really cool. I should be there. We should all be there. Zorn, you have a black hole for a brain. If Charles's psychic contagion induced you to remove your helmet, it would be catastrophic. And Ben, I think we can all agree that one assault on San Francisco by your thought-form alien fleet was enough. The first one happened in X-Men issue 2, Tom. Furthermore, as we see Magic pop in, yoink, what the devil, as Magic pops up and takes Magneto's helmet. Thundercloud, engine room, and then she teleports in and puts it on Beast's head. Ah! Welcome back, Hank. What the? Oh god, is Quentin fighting Charles? Yep. And now it's your problem because I have somewhere else I have to be. It's like, shit. And that is really cool. Seeing the psychic manifestation as well as we just see them in the real world as well as it's like, as they're going, nee, kind of thing. It's like, alright, that's really fucking cool. So then we see what's going on in their minds. The Xavier Institute for Higher Learning. Attention, please, class. And seeing him in a kind of reminiscent, first kind of gen suit there. Omega versus Omega. An Omega mutant is classified as having no upper limit to their power. Therefore, it would follow that any conflict between Omega mutants with the same power could only end in one way, a stalemate. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Quire? Oh god, oh god. And I like how it's kind of nutty there, showing him off. And how that kind of continues over here. The answer, of course, is that if two Omega telepaths were perfectly matched in power, like you and I, for instance, then other variables are what would determine the winner in any such conflict, such as experience. As we see all these Charleses going after Quentin, it's like, oh, shit. And I like the kind of different kind of style, showing what's going on in the Psychic Realm battle versus our real world lobby. Is that all you got? My winds can strip the flesh from even your bones. Eh? Wind? It's just air moving around. What moves it? Temperature. You control weather? I control what makes weather. It's like, oh shit. And the battle damage is like gnarly, and Storm's surprised, like, what? As temper magic pop in. I control far more than winds. You've got sword. Oh, you've got swords? I love swords. Sarneos, Sword of Storms. How are you doing, Kane? Broke my helmet. Your armor's bonded to your soul, idiot. Remember? Summon it again. Oh yeah, as he then pretty much heals his armor, and they go to fight. And seeing magic with their sword like that, and Temper's battle pose is nice. Oh yeah, and Juggernaut just being like, "What up, bitch?" So we shift back to Quentin. You see, I remember who you were before Quentin, before the hair, before the clothes, before the revolutionary posturing. Just a very clever, very lonely boy. A boy who was invisible. A boy who cut himself on the sharp edges of the empty place in the puzzle he tried to fit himself into. This need not go any further, Quentin. I take no pleasure in any of this. You can surrender at any time. But until you do, I fear that you force my hand. And just seeing that, and seeing Charles just say that shit, like, it's one thing to know that, but to bring that up and to just use that to, like, take someone down, no, that's not right. And I feel for Quentin on that. Now he's still an annoying asshole on things. Doesn't excuse it. So we pop back to the battle of Magic and Storm and the rest of them. Well, she doesn't cut, Kane. I always said, if blunt force trauma ain't working for you, you ain't using enough of it. As he smacks her and she's like, are you finished? It's like, oh shit. We're in deep, Kane. You don't say. She's possessed. I looked into her soul. What are you doing looking at people's souls? It's weird. I was raised by demons. They're very preoccupied with souls. So she's got a demon in her. You know how, you know demons. Handle it. It's not a demon. It's something bigger. Something worse. It's like, what do you mean there? And she's showering swords as well. Then we will need her back. Your friend Magot has made himself a cocoon, Storm. It leaves him rather vulnerable. Then we get back to the beefy psychic battle. It's like, oh shit, with Quentin like that on that X. Quentin, end this, please surrender. This is no longer a contest between us. It's just abuse. You were right. I didn't know what to make of myself back then. But even then, I knew that I didn't want to be you. And his face there, I'm like, there you go. You want to... Yep. You know, we might have had that in common now, but enough talk. Yeah. About time you met my attorney. Attorney. Something left behind. A trap thought form I picked out of someone's mind. Something I caged and quarantined in my own brain in case it could be useful. In case you got close. Call it a family reunion, Chuck. Hello, Charles. Hello, brother. So we see Cassandra Nova fucking with him. It's like, oh, shit. And the use of, like, the colors is just really kind of crazy here, going to that purple. Cassandra Nova? How? Blah, 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 blah. As things start going kind of gnarly. You are going to end this now, as you wish. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to Aurora Monroe. You are going to take back control of your body, Storm, because you have acted wrongly. People in the city below are hurt, if not dying, because of what you've brought near them. So return and take responsibility. Or I will drive my sword into the man within this cocoon and kill him. Because that is the lesson I am here to teach. When a being of your power acts wrongly, people die. You have been worshipped as a goddess. Of course you can't imagine being wrong. So let that shame give you power and take back control. It's like, god damn, Psylocke, that's how you do that shit. And seeing her just standing over the cocoon like that, damn. Then we get a look at pretty much Wolverine and Kitty Pryde, Concert of Champions and Uncanny X-Men 13. And it's like, oh shit, and like getting into question of the month, who's the most underappreciated character in the extended X-Men family, bringing up like certain kind of ones throughout. Jed McKay talking about like Alpha Flight, Ryan Stegman talking about Blob, Jason Lowe, Multiple Man, Neto Diaz, Toad, Darren Shan as Morrow, and Noah Sharma as Loa. Loa and Agent Fred Duncan. Fan response to our questions of the month of our questions of the month. The X character I feel the strongest connection to is Wolverine due to his attitude toward life and overall dress style. Brendan Lines. And it's like, okay, check into those and see what's going on there. Bugs! And of course, we see his helmet get knocked off, and then Beast is able to put on Magneto's what? Sleep Professor, and also tranks his ass. The hell took you so long? He had to remove the helmet himself, Quentin. In that psychic turbulence, there was little I could do but wait. I won, by the way. Did you use some manner of dirty trick, McCoy? Of course I did. It's like, yeah. I kind of like how that's panel's kind of done in two parts for that whole kind of thing. It's like, oh, right. Stop. I am myself once more. Get your foot off my go. Would you really do it, Psylocke? Would you kill an innocent man to punish me? You forget who I was. I've killed more innocent men than some diseases. Goddess you may have been, but we are just monsters, and we are taking this monster with us. If you are unhappy with this arrangement, you know where to find me. I hear you like to settle things with knives. I'd be happy to accommodate you. Just monsters. And seeing Storm back in her regular form is very nice, and I really like that we get the majority of her back, and then seeing these small kind of panels going boop, 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 in a kind of descending order. Are you so certain that you are just? Psylocke to Cyclops. Are you awake yet? Barely. Status? Mission complete. We teleported a little ways down the beach so as to not land on you. Mission casualties, and I like how she's kind of the one in charge for that thing, and I love the purple use there. None but compromise. We had to promise Storm not to return Charles to Grey Malkin. With a resistance to telepathic attack, she was unaware of his psychic bleed. Something extremely strange is happening to her, and now Mago as well. It will bear observation. As will Charles. He's been heavily sedated, but we should be moving. Put the bald man down, Hank. As we then see more of this going on. Holy shit! X-Factor will take it from here. It's like, oh shit. To be continued in X-Factor issue 8. Bam! And also a showcase of Avengers issue 25. So we get X-Mail. And then here we go. The town of Merle enlists the X-Men to aid in a search and rescue operation for a missing child, one closer to the X-Men than the sheriff knows. But while the X-Men search for Piper Cobb, they are themselves being watched. As their shadowy adversaries move to strike directly, their own agenda unfolding. And Quentin looks fucked up. So evidently this X-Manhunt goes from Uncanny X-Men issue 11, Nyx issue 9, Storm issue 6, this one X-Men issue 13, X-Factor issue 8, Exceptional X-Men issue 7, X-Force issue 9, and X-Men Omega issue 1 finale. That is fucking... That's fucked up. I mean, going from the previous issue to just this one, I'm like, what the fuck's kind of going on? I mean, they do a good enough job within it to explain what's going on, but it's very whiplashy of being like, we just dealt with kind of like Alpha Flight and people trying to like kidnap Scott. What the fuck, man? It just kind of derails the momentum of what's kind of going on. Now, I did like having Quentin Quire going up against Charles Xavier and him using the Cassandra Nova kind of thing to kind of like fuck his shit up. Beast and Magic and the whole team had all their little parts to do this, to kind of deal with this fucked up crazy ass situation, to get Charles's helmet off and to pretty much sedate his ass and to have him have Magneto's helmet on. I loved that little bit of Magic just yoinking it from Magneto as Magneto's having this serious conversation like, what the fuck just happened? And then a majority of them fighting Storm in a kind of fucking crazed out state. It was gnarly, but being dropped into it, that's my only real negative. Felt like I was just dropped into it, and I'm like, ah, shit. And because of how it's parsed out throughout all these different kind of X-Men comics, you pretty much have to be reading the other X-Men comics for that. It's like, I don't like it being done that way. it just kind of like derails. I mean, yeah, it's an interesting kind of story, but I would almost wish that they were just doing an X-Manhunt event or like three-parter itself to kind of deal with that, rather than taking it over and kind of derailing the momentum of each X book, even though it's touching upon each X team. It's like, okie dokie. But I still liked the character moments and work, and the artwork was fucking phenomenal. I love the shifting of styles of the psychic battle in the real world. Just expressions and the actions and everything kind of going on. It really, like, other than the central premise of what the fuck's kind of going on here, everything worked very well in the issue, and I still had fun and enjoyment from it. It's just like, oh, okay, why are we doing the X-Manhunt like this? So those are my opinions on the issue. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also, like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.